I wanted to talk about this because it was something I remembered. I remembered this being a story. I remembered back in the 90s just seeing it, maybe on Entertainment Tonight or something like that. I wasn't watching Entertainment Tonight in the late 90s, but it was just some lighthearted story. And in the 90s, we could take things like this lightheartedly. Now, I want to first of all say I'm, I support Mel. I'm a fan of Mel. I like Mel. I'm not accusing Mel of being a phony or being secretly one of them. I'm saying that he obviously was a part of the industry, and being a part of the industry had to take part in certain humiliation rituals. So, and I don't know what his positioning is with the industry now, since he's obviously done a lot of things to make them not be very happy with him anymore. It's kind of a miracle he's still around. Anyhow, here's the picture. We'll start with the picture, and then I'm going to read the story. This is, as you can see, the caption there. That's Mel Gibson in drag. He's got fake breasts. You can't see that here, but he's got fake breasts, and wearing a skirt and a wig. So he's doing drag. Okay, and this is part of this ritual that they do at Harvard. What are these part of these freaky rituals they do that the elites do? But back in the 90s, we didn't think twice about this. This was just sort of, that's funny. Mel's in drag. Mr. Macho Braveheart guy is doing drag at Harvard. How amusing. So actor Mel Gibson laughs the 18th of February as he's honored by Harvard University Hasty Pudding Theatricals as their Man of the Year in Cambridge, Massachusetts. This was 1997. Gibson is dressed in a bra as Harvard senior Darren Goulet in drag watches. That's the senior, also in drag. Yeah, they're really into doing the drag thing at Harvard. No real surprise there. That the elites are a bunch of freaks and pervs. Okay, so here's the story, and this is right from the from how does the expression go? From the horse's mouth. I don't know why I forgot that expression. I just become overcome with stage fright sometimes. This is from the Harvard Crimson. February 19th, 1997, Gibson eats dog food, accepts pudding pot. Mel Gibson earned the title of 1997 Man of the Year last night, only after eating spoonfuls of dog food and reciting Hamlet with a Scottish accent. I don't know what's the Scottish accent thing. Oh well, they had him in a kilt, so. But he wore the kilt for Braveheart, and that was just historically accurate. That wasn't cross-dressing. But here it was part of an ensemble where he was dressed as a woman, or he was doing drag. Only after eating spoonfuls of dog food, more humiliation, ritual humiliation, and reciting Hamlet with a Scottish accent. He'd been in a version of Hamlet earlier, like in 1990, 91, something like that. Franco Zeffirelli's version of Hamlet. Did the Academy Award-winning actor receive the Hasty Pudding Theatricals annual prize. The night's final antic, Gibson was dressed in a kilt and a red wig, and then asked to wear a red and blue bra. I'm very particular about what I put next to me, Gibson said before unbuttoning his own shirt to reveal a leopard pattern bra that the Braveheart star, director, and producer had already donned. Is anyone prepared to take anything I say seriously? Gibson asked in a preface to his acceptance speech. I hope I come back in a different state. I'll put this in a treasured place next to my toilet, Gibson said as he proudly displayed the pudding pot. Following the evening's roast, Gibson attended the pudding show, Me and My Galaxy, which he said was quite funny, entertaining, and great. It's a growner, 2 thumbs up, Gibson added. During a news conference last night, Gibson said he was unprepared for the night's capers. It was all a kind of mystery. You're supposed to come a little blind. So he's willingly taking part in this ritual. Again, I'm not condemning him. I'm not saying he's one of them. I'm not saying he's secretly one of them and he's just pretending to be one of us. I don't believe that. I believe it's more, I don't know exactly what the truth is, but I believe the truth is more complicated than that. I think he's trying to do the right thing, but he's in a sick industry. But again, in the 60s, in the 90s, this was no big deal. This was just, people just looked at this, shrugged, and moved on. Maybe I'll fill the pudding pot with dog food or with my grandfather's ashes. The bra I'll put in my office, Gibson said. Gibson said he wasn't sure why he was selected Man of the Year. Sort of an artistic achievement, I suppose, Gibson said. Perhaps my sense of humor. Gibson also referred to his campus visit last November and described Harvard as terrific. The place has so many facets, Gibson said. I think I got more out of it than the school did. But Gibson feigned ignorance when asked about the controversial and expletive-laden remarks he made during a speech in Sanders Theater. I don't remember any controversial remarks, and I don't think it was lewd or vulgar. Gibson explained that when he referred to his life as a shit sandwich during the address, he simply meant that the more bread you have, the less shit you have to eat. It's a joke, Gibson quipped. Well, this is weird. I don't know what that's all about. Gibson continued his praise for the university. I think Harvard is a great institution. It's been around for a long time, which is a testament to it, Gibson said. But I may have caused some people some heartbreak when I was last here, from what you tell me. I used a 4-letter word that starts with an S, ends with a T, and has high in it. He said, I'm sorry, we all use it. Gibson's most recent predecessors as Man of the Year were Tom Cruise and Harrison Ford. Okay, so this is not an unusual thing. I don't want to be mistaken here. This is not, what they did with Mel Gibson here during this ritual humiliation is not an unusual thing. It seems like a lot of guys in entertainment, high profile people, Tom Cruise, they mentioned in this article Tom Cruise and Harrison Ford, and they were both big stars in the 90s. I guess Tom Cruise still is a pretty big star. Harrison Ford's kind of on the elderly side now. But so I just wanted to record this because I remembered this distinctly. I remembered this, seeing a little segment about this, and it was portrayed really lightheartedly. And again, I want to emphasize that, in the 80s and 90s, people didn't see this and think, this is an initiation. This is some evil, sinister, elite, thing that these perverted Hollywood elites, make the people who get involved in Hollywood have to do. We didn't think that way at that time. It just wasn't a part of our mindset. It's impossible to see something like this now and not think what the hell's going on, right? And not be deeply suspicious and be correctly suspicious. But it's a different time now, And again, I think about how Dave Chappelle appeared on Oprah a few years ago and said, he was going to do this movie, and all of a sudden they ambushed him and said, "We're going to do a scene. Let's do a scene where you're wearing a dress." And Chappelle said, "No, I'm not going to do that. I don't feel comfortable doing that." And then he sort of drew or made a point. He called our attention to the fact that just nearly every black comedian has been made to dress in drag. When you think about it, other than Dave Chappelle, they've all you can't find a time where they're not doing a movie, at least all of it or part of it in drag. Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor, Martin Lawrence, on and on it goes. They all have these. They all do these movies where they're in drag. And it's every single black comedian, And I when I thought about it, I thought, yeah, that Chappelle's got a real point there. That this isn't just some black guy bitching about the white man, putting him down. He's saying, baselessly, he's saying, that this is something they do in Hollywood to black comedians. And once you see it, it's hard to unsee it. And I don't know if this kind of stuff is still, if these hasty pudding events are still go on today. They probably do, but it's a lot harder to see something like this in any kind of innocent light. And I think, I, for one, anything where cross-dressing is involved, anything where they try to get a man to dress like a woman, you see it more and more lately, like pop stars, suddenly appearing in magazines wearing a dress, wearing women's clothing, doing the drag thing. It's much easier the scales have fallen from a lot of our eyes. We understand it to be a nefarious thing. We understand it to be a humiliation ritual. Shut up. Go away. Go away. So I'll end it there. What do y'all think?